Hey guys, Oprah Winfrey, one of the most influential women of our time. But what if I told you her success isn't just luck or hard work? It's actually wrapped up in her design. Today we're going to be breaking down Oprah's human design blueprint and uncover any hidden forces that shaped her empire. Let's dive in, guys.
This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only.
Hey guys, Dwayne Alleyne coming at you here once again with another episode of Outcome Control Business Solution. Guys, this is the place where it is we help people overcome the obstacles, help them make high accurate decisions so that they can control the outcomes of their life. So today in this episode, we're going to be covering Madam Oprah Winfrey. Just to give you guys a backdrop on human design and to give you guys a sense as to how I came across this particular approach to life and to business and to relationships, etc., etc. So first of all, it was a friend of mine who recommended this particular personality assessment because they know I will very deep into personality assessments, and because I really have a desire, because I do build a business, I also help people start businesses as well too. And I was always intrigued by how some people, latch on and dig in and begin to apply themselves and create success, and why other people don't. And so what I began to design were putting different personality assessments together to see what different people's strengths and weaknesses were, so that I can basically give them a pathway that is seamless, it is doable, it is reliable, and that they can actually build a certain level of consistency. Because once you get to a point of consistency, the game is over. All right, and a consistency that you are able to do that stretches you a little bit, but not to the point that it stresses you out, doesn't make you totally 100% uncomfortable. It's like you are able to do it and apply it every single day or every other day or every 3 days, whatever, based upon that the person's design was. And so now we're able to see people getting traction. So just some backdrops on this, and I'm still studying this design, guys, being honest with you. But it was created by a gentleman by the name of Robert Allen Krakoa. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And what he was really able to do was pull all of these ancient personality assessments together to create this human design. So he looked at things that were ancient Chinese spiritual systems, biblical spiritual systems, Asian spiritual systems, just kind of pulling these things together. But the gist of it is really determining at the time of birth. And I always like to go back to scripture because that is my foundation, just to make sure I'm doing the right things. And one of the scriptures that really came out to me is Ecclesiastes, where it says that there's a time to born and there's a time to die, and there's a purpose for everything under the sun. These are not just words for me. It really is something that I hold dearly to my belief that everything happens for a reason. Everybody is born on purpose and for a purpose. And so now when you look at the time that somebody is born, considering the fact that they are being born into a family, the time that they are coming into this realm, so to speak, from the time they break the matrix, and even time before that, while they're in their mother's womb, within that second trimester, where that fetus is fully formed, that is where our consciousness really comes into play. By the time that body is fully formed, and I found it very intriguing and very interesting to actually think about, wow, while you are in your second trimester, around your 6 months, somewhere around there, 6-7 months, the fetus is fully formed, and boom, your consciousness comes into that particular body that is inside the mother's womb, and that begins to take shape, right? And so I personally believe that everybody is born for a purpose, and they are born on purpose. Right? And this particular design, it goes at the heart of those things, right? Like at the time that you were born, You started getting into some of the reasons why, how we were designed, and really and truly what I'm beginning to discover as I do more and more of these sessions is that we are all connected. And none of us, some of us share strengths and share weaknesses, but we all have unique identities, like a fingerprint. We have this unique design, and you'll never have two people having the same exact design. So that's so powerful for me. You understand what I'm saying? So I want to get into the Oprah Winfrey's design, and this will be part one because I have to do it in sessions. But I just wanted to lay a foundation there for you guys to get an understanding of where it is we're coming from, how I came across it really, but really and truly the impact for me, apart from what I'm seeing happening in my own life and the life of people that I coach and I mentor. What was super interesting is the fact that if this human design approach is accurate and is true, how about, and is designed to help people make high quality decisions in their life? Well, let's take a few people who have made great decisions in their life, look at where we could observe their outcome, which will be quote unquote success, right? We're saying quote unquote success here. All right. Look at their end result and go back to their design and see, okay, is their design lining up with the outcome of their decisions that they would have made how much ever years ago? So we did Elon Musk last week, guys. We dived into Oprah Winfrey. Like I said, I'm new at this year, so bear with me. It's not going to be as professional as we might want it to be, but it's a step in the right direction based upon how I am designed to operate, right? There's something that I have to bring to the world, apparently. So I'm doing my part, right? So you do yours by liking it. If you like it, like it. If you want more, subscribe. Right? If you think it's vital information, share it. If you want to get your design broken down into, okay, what is the best way for you to operate, reach out to me, guys. My number will be at the end of this video. All right, so let's dive in. All right, folks. So what we're looking at here is basically something called a body graph, right? So there's some information that we put into either My Body Graph or Pure Generators or Jovian Archive. These are all websites that you can go to. It's in the public domain. You can go in there, put in your personal information, and it's going to give you back something like this here, a body graph, right? Which basically is made up of different centers, different channels, different gates. What are some of the, where you have some, what we call a defined center or undefined center. So a defined center will be basically what I like to call, in layman terms, where most of your strengths would be, and your undefined, so the defined will be what is colored, and your undefined will be, which will be blank or white in this case. And so the undefined will be quote unquote where some of your weaknesses may be, but also to those white areas are where you are able now to attract people who have those strengths that helps balance out, your life, because we all need each other, right? Nobody succeeds on an island. So when we look at Madam Oprah Winfrey's chart here, I mean, she has a lot of colors happening here. Definitely her head, her what we call her ajna, which is her mind and thinking. Her throat, which is interesting, is blank, which deals a lot with communication and manifestation. That's blank there. But she does have some gates and channels coming out of there, so that will be interesting to take a look at. Then you have her G, or her center, well, the G center we call it. Then you have her sacral, right, which is the red under there, and then her root, and then she has both spleen and solar plexus. So what does all of this mean, right? What does all of this mean? So let's just dive into getting onto the nitty-gritty, basic understanding of her type, her strategy, her best approach, and we're going to begin to see if some of these things actually line up. Okay, so here we are. So we're looking at Madam Oprah Winfrey here, and she's definitely a generator, just like me, because of that sacral center that she has. And I could tell you off the bat, the best way for her to go about making decisions, right, is to really check with her gut. So she's a generator type. Her strategy is to respond, which means she's designed to wait for external cues before taking action, rather than forcing things to happen. Signature, fulfillment, or satisfaction. When she's living in alignment, this person experiences deep satisfaction and fulfillment in their work and relationship. Now realize you have this person, right? Because we deliberately did not put her full name in there because we didn't want AI to infer or inject something about Oprah that would kind of compromise this test, right? If you know what I mean. So again, when living in alignment, this person experiences deep satisfaction and fulfillment in their work and relationships. So we hope and pray that is happening with her. Her not self theme is resistance, which is frustration. So when she ignore their strategy or try to force things, they experience resistance and frustration. Let's talk about that solar plexus there that we saw, right? That's one of the brown ones, if you go back a little bit. So it tells me that, there's a lot of emotions are there. So what is her decision-making style? So she needs emotional clarity over time rather than making impulsive decisions. What is her best approach? Waiting through emotional highs and lows before making commitments. So we could, basically imagine that this is something that Oprah would have probably mastered over her life, right? Making decisions in emotional highs and lows, seeing how it did not work out for her, and beginning to master that. And if you look at Oprah's life over the couple of years, right, she always have these interactions with people of awareness, of personal development, of spirituality. I know you know what I'm talking about. When you hear about Oprah and you hear about talk shows, you also hear about her engaging in different spiritual types and all of these different things, trying to understand herself, understand others, etc., etc. And I could only imagine that this is something that she had to deal with, her emotional highs and emotional lows. Now watch this. It says that she's a triple split definition. So this triple split definition means integration. This person has 3 groups of defined centers that are not directly connected. That's what we just looked at, right? Those 3 different centers that which are defined that are not directly connected. In part, they often need external connections, relationships, environments, conversations to feel whole and to get clarity. And again, if you look back at her chart here, so you see the heart is undefined. You're seeing also the throat is undefined. So like I said, in these areas, we could be highly influenced, but also too, these are the areas where other people is going to come into our life to add that balance. So that connection, for that external connections through relationships, environments, and conversations to feel whole and get clarity, that's going to be a major impact upon their life. Strength can interact with multiple perspectives and bring different energies together. Isn't that Oprah? So just based upon that there, we can see how this lines up with who Madam Winfrey is. That's super duper interesting there. All right, let's take a look at her profile here. So her profile is a 2-4, hermit and opportunist. We share that same 2 profile, but I'm 6'2", not in height, but role model and hermit. So I know what that hermit line definitely is. Has a natural talent or genius that emerges effortlessly. We could see that with Oprah, right? Like when Oprah is having these interviews or just having these interactions, it seems effortless for her. Even when she's acting, it seems effortless for her. But she also needs time alone to recharge and refine her abilities. The 4th line is an opportunist, which builds success through networking and relationships, right? We just covered that before, right? Like that connection. Thrives on trust and strong connections rather than cold outreach. Opportunities come through people they already know. So again, if you go into the history of Oprah Winfrey, you'll find there are people that her opportunities would have come through, that she would have known or that she would have built relationships with over time, etc., etc. So the incarnation cross, what is this about? This is like your future, right? It's a sort of a predictive of your best future, right? Where you will possibly thrive the most, right? In terms of career and life, etc. So her theme is influence, communication, and visionary leadership. Isn't that interesting? That is her theme, and that's what she is right now. She's a strong influencer. That's why, for elections, they will pay her lots of money, right? She's an effective communicator. You'd have looked at that as well too, having all of those talk shows as well, and a visionary leadership, visionary leader. So Gates 19 and 33, sensitive and reflection. So she's deeply aware of human needs and emotional undercurrents. That sounds like her. Reflects on the past to guide others towards healing and transformation. Definitely Oprah, towards healing and transformation. You tell me that you haven't heard that about Oprah, right? That talking about transformation, talking about healing, talking about getting therapy. All of these different things, they are synonymous with Oprah Winfrey. Gates 44 and 24, recognition and contemplation, has an intuitive ability to recognize potential in people and ideas, possible, naturally good at sharing wisdom in a way that influences others. Tell me that's not Oprah, right? I think that hit the nail on the head. Other key aspects, determination, digestion, we wouldn't cover those things because we wouldn't know. Cognition, her inner vision. Well, cognition is inner vision. She has a strong ability to visualize possibilities and outcomes before they happen. Very, very powerful. Visualize possibilities. Strong imagination. Likely has a vivid imagination and uses intuition to navigate decisions. Motivation is desire. So she's driven by passion and the pursuit of personal goals and needs a compelling reason to take action rather than just going through the motions. So chances are she has definitely have a compelling reason to do what it is she does. And because she doesn't seem like a person who likes going through the motions. Like, again, we don't know, right? We just kind of deducing and deducting what we can based upon what we see and what we hear about her, maybe what we've read about her, or what other people would have said about her, to draw conclusions here. All right? Perspective power sees life through the lens of influence and leadership. Yep. Other often interested in understanding authority structures and how people rise to power. I think that's definitely her, being a young black woman rising in her industry where her peers are mostly men. It tells me that she has an understanding of authority structures and how to rise to power. So she knows what to do. Environment, markets external, thrives in a high energy dynamic environments where ideas and opportunities flow. And she's best suited for places where they can interact with a variety of people, business hubs, events, and the media. Right? So go figure. So let's take a look at her channels and their meanings, and then we're done. So 6124, thinking and insights. So the channel, just to be clear here, the channels are these lines here, the black lines, the red lines. Rather, I will say that the red is the unconscious and the black is the conscious. So again, when you are actually born, you become conscious, right? You become conscious, but that consciousness is based off of an unconscious design that came inside of you 3 months before you were born, where your body was fully formed inside of your mother's womb, and that conscious design or unconscious design came inside of you, which is what we are talking about here, meaning that everything has a time and a purpose. There's a time to born, there's a time to die, right? There's a time for everything under the sun, right? And why it is you came at that particular time, well, that's what we're discussing here, and that's what we're helping people with. So for her, being a deep thinker with a gift of seeing hidden truths, definitely something that is built inside of her, and may experience mental breakthroughs that influences others, right? So that is 100% true. Her mental breakthroughs influence other people. 5734, intuitive power, highly instinctual decision maker when aligned, works best when trusting their gut reactions and commitment and success. A powerful force of perseverance. When they commit, they follow through. They attract luck by saying yes to the right opportunities. Yeah. 1949, sensitivity and revolution. A deep understanding of human needs, fairness and justice. Yeah, I think so. Oprah has that ingrained in her. may be drawn to causes that uplift people and create change. I think so too. All right, so some of the practical applications and final insights. So business and leadership has a visionary insight, and the ability to influence others works best when leveraging their network, correct? Relationships prefers meaningful, high quality connections, needs alone time to recharge before engaging socially. High quality connections, relationship with the president of America, the vice president, some of the elites in society has that connection. Whether it's positive or not is up to you to decide. Personal growth, balancing time for introspection with engaging in dynamic environments is key. Must embrace waiting for clarity before taking action. And the final insights is this person is intuitive, influential, and deeply insightful. Their power comes from connecting with the right people, sharing their wisdom, and using their emotional clarity to make decisions by following their generator strategy, waiting to respond. Trusting their instincts and embracing their social network, they can achieve massive impact in the world. So guys, this is Oprah Winfrey's design. And if you go back again to her body graph, you can see that she's a highly defined person. From the head to her mind, to her center, to her emotions in the solar plexus, her sacral response, which I am. Now my chart is not like this. I have a lot of blank areas, and go figure. So there's a lot of projections and expectations that were put upon me, being the last child of my father and my mother, having all of these adults, basically setting expectations upon me, having me kind of move away from the best way for making decisions for myself, because everybody wants to make decisions for you. And it's only when I recognize that is when I actually got on track. And again, I didn't understand it through this year, the human design. I learned that years ago, probably 5-10 years ago, that I learned that, and without even recognizing that these things were actually true about me. All right, so folks, that's it for episode, how much ever it is. I can't remember what episode it is, probably 4 or 5, fifth episode. But this is part 1 for Oprah Winfrey. In the next session, we're going to cover her challenges, right? How she was able to overcome those challenges, and maybe dive into some of potential goals. And we're going to look at some other things where it is what would have caused Oprah Winfrey to create the levels of success that she would have created. So guys, if you want to get this done, hit me up, business and life coach Dwayne J. Alleyne. You could get me at 868-333-8048. Yes, I'm a Trinidadian, but we do work with people in the US, in Canada, the Dominican Republic, and throughout the Caribbean islands. So catch you on the next one, guys. Dwayne Alleyne, over and out. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.
This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. The Human Design Project is a framework for self-discovery and personal insight, not a definitive science. Our analysis is based on publicly available information and should not be considered factual or absolute. We do not claim to know the private thoughts, experiences, or personal beliefs of any individuals discussed. Furthermore, our discussion is not intended to defame, mislead, or misrepresent any public figure. We respect their privacy and contributions to society. Any insights shared are speculative interpretations meant to foster discussion, self-reflection, and a deeper understanding of human design concepts. Listeners are encouraged to explore these ideas with an open mind and conduct their own research. Contact Life and Business Coach Dwayne J. Alleyne at 868-333-8048 to conduct your complimentary assessment today.